3 days before her wedding, Darcy Ingram got a call from her father. It was a Tuesday. She was in her workshop, trimming roses, soil under her nails. The caller ID said Dad. She picked up with her elbow. 6 words. That's all it took. I am not walking you down the aisle. Darcy set down her pruning shears. She wiped her hands on her jeans. Silence. 5 seconds that felt like 5 years. Vanessa says it would upset her, he added. Vanessa, Darcy's older sister. The golden child. Married with 2 kids and apparently still the center of every decision in the Ingram household, even this one. Your sister is going through a rough time, Darcy. Her marriage. Darcy knew. But this was her wedding. 10 minutes later, her mom called to finish the job. Go solo. Stop making drama. Lots of modern brides walk alone. She said it like she was reading a brochure. So, 48 hours later, when the barn doors opened, the man holding her arm wouldn't be her father. Music shift. Slightly darker, reflective. Narrator. To understand why this hurts so much, you have to understand Ridgewood. Growing up, Vanessa was the bright one. Debate team, piano recitals. Their dad introduced her the same way every time. This is Vanessa. She's going to be a lawyer. Darcy was the one with dirt on her knees. At 14, she built a greenhouse in the backyard from scrap wood. It stood 7 feet tall. By August, it grew tomatoes the size of fists. That year, her science fair fell on the same Saturday as Vanessa's spelling bee. Darcy won first place. A blue ribbon. Her dad walked in 30 minutes late, glanced at the ribbon, nodded, and said, "Good job, the way you'd compliment a stranger's shoes." Then he checked his phone. The greenhouse stayed for 9 years. Her mom called it an eyesore. Her dad called it nothing. But it kept growing tomatoes every summer, whether anyone noticed or not. In high school, Darcy graduated with a 3.7 GPA and acceptance to a horticulture program. Her parents threw one dinner to celebrate, but all 3 speeches were about Vanessa getting into Columbia. No one mentioned Darcy's diploma. When she told her mom about her career path, Donna Ingram looked at her like she was speaking another language. That is not a real career, Darcy. Vanessa's MBA was paid in full. Darcy paid her own way, landscaping jobs, student loans. No one announced her balance at the dinner table. By the time Vanessa married Preston Hale, the investment banker, Darcy's parents glowed like they'd arranged the stock market. Then the grandkids arrived. Lily and Owen became the center of her father's universe. And Vanessa noticed. She noticed the way you notice a lever you can pull. The first time was over Christmas seating. The second, a family photo. The third time, Darcy heard it herself, speakerphone. Vanessa's voice, calm and practiced. If you walk her, I will not bring the kids to Christmas. Her dad paused. Okay, Nessa. Okay. The hierarchy was set. Vanessa, then the grandkids, then her parents' comfort, then, somewhere below the property taxes, Darcy. Music, a warm, hopeful acoustic guitar enters. Narrator. But Darcy found her own family. 3 years ago, she met Marcus Delaney on a Tuesday morning. He was a structural engineer. She was planting a rain garden. They both drank black coffee. He offered a hand with her root balls. Their first date was a nursery tour and tacos from a truck. Marcus introduced her to his dad, Frank Delaney. Frank was 63, a retired carpenter. Hands like worn leather gloves. He called her kiddo by week 3. By month 2, he'd built her a white oak bookshelf with dovetail joints. Inside the left panel, he carved her initials, DI small enough to miss unless you knew where to look. When Darcy's mom asked about Marcus's family, not if he was kind, but if he was from a good family, Darcy just said, his dad is a carpenter. Silence on the other end of the line. When the wedding invitations went out, Darcy asked her dad to walk her down. He said yes, quickly, like agreeing to hold a door. Marcus, ever steady, just put a hand on her knee. You know who they are, Darce. I know, but I want to give them one more chance. Music, tension builds slightly. Narrator. The call came on Tuesday evening, 3 days before the wedding. Darcy was in the workshop. the pruning shears in her hand. Her dad's voice was steady, detached. Professional avoidance. I am not going to walk you down the aisle. Vanessa says it would upset her. Darcy asked the only question that mattered. Did Vanessa threaten you with the kids again? More silence. Then his voice dropped. She said if I walked you, she wouldn't bring Lily and Owen to Christmas. There it was. The same lever. The trade-off. And he chose it without blinking. Darcy said, okay, and hung up. She finished trimming the 14th rose arrangement. Her hands didn't shake. Shaking would have meant she was surprised. She wasn't. She was just done pretending. Her mom called 10 minutes later. Go solo. It's empowering. Darcy hung up. She walked out to the porch, stared at the garden she'd planted. Marcus found her 20 minutes later. He didn't ask what happened. He just sat next to her. What do you want to do? He asked. Not, I'll fix this. Just, what do you want to do? I don't want to walk alone. Then you won't. Marcus looked at her, calm and focused. Darce, Frank has been waiting. He just didn't want to overstep. The next morning, Darcy drove to Frank's house in Chester. The garage smelled like linseed oil and cedar. Frank was sanding a teak rocking chair. She stood there for 10 seconds before he looked up. Hey kiddo. Frank, my dad backed out of walking me. He didn't say he was sorry. He didn't ask why. He just looked at her with steady gray eyes and said 5 words. When do you need me? No hesitation. No, are you sure? Just. When do you need me? Saturday. 1 o'clock. I'll be there at noon. Darcy cried in the car on the way home. For the first time all week. Music. Emotional, sweeping strings. Narrator. 2 days later, the barn doors opened. October sun, low and gold. 200 heads turned. And there they were. Frank Delaney and Darcy Ingram. A carpenter and a gardener. Neither related by blood. Both exactly where they were supposed to be. Darcy didn't look at the back row. She didn't need to. She looked straight ahead, at Marcus, who stood with wet eyes and a grin that said everything. At the altar, the officiant asked, who gives this woman in marriage? Frank cleared his throat. Her family does. All of us who showed up. The room exhaled. Frank placed Darcy's hand in Marcus's. He stepped back, sat in the seat labeled with his name, the seat her father was supposed to fill. During the reception, her dad finally approached her at the dessert table. He smelled like the same Old Spice he'd worn since she was 7. Darcy, that man did a good job. She turned. He did. I wanted to say I'm sorry. She looked at him. Not with anger. Not with forgiveness. Just a flat, clear gaze. Sorry that you missed it? Or sorry that everyone saw? He flinched. Her mom appeared, guiding him away. Don't make a scene, Darcy. Darcy picked up the cake knife. I'm not the one making scenes, Mom. I'm cutting cake. Music, softening, reflective piano returns. Narrator. 2 weeks after the wedding, Vanessa called. Preston had left. Moved out while she was at the grocery store. Her voice broke, not dramatically, but quietly. I thought if I could keep Mom and Dad focused on me, it would fill the gap. Your happiness was in the way. Darcy didn't comfort her. She didn't attack her. She just listened. Then she said goodbye and went back to measuring a garden for a children's hospital. A letter arrived the following week. Not a text. A real letter in her father's tilted penmanship. Darcy, I should have walked you down that aisle. I chose wrong. I have been choosing wrong your whole life and telling myself it was easier. It was not easier. It was just cowardly. Frank earned what I threw away. He showed up. I did not. I do not expect you to forgive me. But I want you to know. I am proud of you, Darcy. I always was. I was just too weak to say it out loud. Dad. Darcy read it twice. Folded it. Placed it in her desk drawer next to her grandmother Eleanor's letter, the one that said, family is who shows up. She used to think family was the people you were born to. She didn't think that anymore. Family is the man who drives 40 minutes to fix a hinge you didn't ask him to fix. Family is a letter in a yellowed envelope from a woman who's been gone 11 years. Family is a carpenter who says yes before you finish asking. Darcy looked at her hands. Calluses. soil under her nails. These hands felt things. And on the most important day of her life, they weren't empty. They were held by the man who showed up. If this story reminded you that family is a choice, not an obligation, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Thanks for listening.